Today's episode of Wine Time Fridays is brought to you in part by our friends at Elsum Cellars and Seasons of Coeur d'Alene.
It's been a long week, right? Are you ready to wind down? Why not? It's time for the Wine Time Fridays podcast with Shelley and Phil. Neither are sommeliers, but both have a deep passion for life, each other, and of course, delicious wine. And now, here to talk about this week over a glass of wine is Shelley and Phil. It's wine time.
I think I hear the ice cream man. Sorry.
That's the best. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Wine Time Fridays with Shelley and Phil and a guest on this Friday, April 18th, episode 261. Happy Friday, Shelley. It's wine time. Get
Happy
that wine
Friday.
bell out. Kind of the ice cream truck stole our thunder. Unbelievable. It gets above 40 degrees and the ice cream truck comes out. Today we are starting out very literally. I mean, quite literally. Okay? Today, Shelley, we are having wine with Paige.
Hello. Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah. Paige Comrie with Wine with Paige is our guest today, and I'm just super jazzed about this. In my notes, I wasn't even going to mention this, but our brands really go well together. It's Wine Time Fridays, Wine with Paige. It's just so much wine.
Yeah, so much wine.
Okay, well, no one liked that as much as I did. We met Paige last year, maybe 14, 15 months ago at Rocky Pond. When they got together some influencers, and there was this lady walking around with this nice camera, like old school camera, taking all these great shots. Not even a cell phone. It was a camera. Do you remember what those look like, Shelley?
I have got one.
You think you do. You couldn't find it.
No, I know where it is.
Okay, good. That was
You
Paige.
had your phone also, though, right?
You did both.
I have all sorts of gadgets.
Yeah. So I would like to propose we open the Chardonnay, and then we'll start peppering Paige with questions.
Peppering Paige with
You like the
questions.
what do you call that?
Alliteration.
Alliterations. Paige has got what she would call a reception wine. Paige, what is in your glass?
No, she said a bone.
Oh, so
Bonnet.
I almost didn't think I could find the Chardonnay for a second, and I was panicking. So I poured a different glass of same brand, Terraces.
Yeah.
But they make a Cortese.
Oh, a white blend.
It's so beautiful. Like, it's the perfect wine. Like, it's 75? It might even be 80 here in Napa today. And I feel like this is the perfect porch pounder. So once we get off this podcast, I think I'm going to go finish a bigger glass of this on my patio.
What is the blend of that white wine from the Terraces?
Well, Cortese is the grape. It's from Italy.
There you go.
It's one of those weird, esoteric, little-known ones. I think it's the main one in Gavi.
Does Massican make a Cortese?
Probably.
I
They
think
make so many
Massican
fun
does.
Italian varieties.
Yes, all white. I love that.
Yep.
You know, there's another thing we found out that the Terraces makes, and that was a Falangina.
Ooh, yes. I almost poured that, but then I was like, no, I want to save that for friends because that one's so good.
See, you're the opposite of us.
You want to save it for us?
Can I have your
That's
glass?
funny.
Okay, but you have each other right now. I at least need to save it for my boyfriend. Like,
Yeah, there you go. There you
somebody
go.
who can enjoy it like properly. But it's just their wines are so good. I like to share.
Well, I mean, it sounds like you have quite a bit of knowledge about the Terraces. We just poured the 2023, the Terraces Chardonnay out of Sonoma.
Yeah.
$45 at the winery. We would like to make a proper Wine Time Fridays toast is to health, wealth, abundance, gratitude, romance,
And peace on earth.
and peace on earth.
Cheers.
Cheers.
And Wine with
Thank
Paige.
you for being with us.
Thanks again for having me. I was actually just at the Terraces yesterday, so I feel very refreshed on everything.
Oh, good. I have
Okay,
never been there. This is really good, though.
this is fantastic.
Much better than the ones we've been having.
Well, I think we've gotten used to drinking some pretty good quality wines.
Maybe that's it.
And so when you go back, it's not always about the price, because there are some wines that are not expensive and they're just fine. But, $45 at the winery, that's not a small little deal for a white wine, but you taste the difference. You taste the depth and the quality. This is so clean and so refreshing. They sent us a nice little flyer with this because we cannot get this wine here in North Idaho. We had to go directly to the source, and they were nice enough to send us a bottle, which is very, very cool. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about the Terraces, and then we're going to make you talk all about yourself.
Yeah. So the Terraces is a small family-owned winery here in Napa. They grow red varieties, but they source their white varieties from a variety of places.
Wow.
Just makes more sense in terms of terroir. But I love them. So in Napa, it's really rare to find a family-owned winery where you're actually tasting with the family. But every time you go, you're either tasting with Shannon, the matriarch of the family, her daughter, the winemaker. It's a very personalized experience, and you do like an ATV ride through the vineyards, taste their like vinegar, sit down with them, hear their whole thing. And I mean, you're saying 45 is kind of like a lot for a Chardonnay, but in terms of Napa and Sonoma, I think that's a steal. I have paid upwards of $90 for a Chardonnay before here. So
Yeah, for sure. I just there's just this part of me, and it's probably more my age, I'm thinking anything like over $30 for a white wine better be freaking unbelievable. Well, this is 45 and this is freaking unbelievable. So that's really good. But I think I do anyway, put these limitations when I ought not do that, I think.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just worth it. And I think this one is. I mean, I also think it's one of the more approachable Chardonnays. They age it, I think, 90% in neutral oak barrels, 10% new.
Yeah, I think you're right. Based off of what I remember, yeah.
And so it's very smooth, it's elegant, food friendly, or you could, again, sit on your patio in the 75-degree heat, enjoy the sun with it. I don't know. I just think it's a very approachable Chardonnay.
That was actually one of my questions right off the bat is how's the weather there, Paige? And is there bud break yet?
Yes.
I mean, are we pushing the buds?
Yeah, depending on where you are, sometimes it's a little bit more dramatic. At Terraces yesterday, it was just the tiniest little buds peeking out of their vines.
So cool.
But I've seen some more lush ones coming up already in Napa, which is surprising.
Well, you guys are pushing 80 degrees, and
we're 45 right now.
Yeah, well, most of this week has been 65, in the 60s.
In the 60s, but
and we were worried about our hydrangeas. They just look dead. And then I go out and I got my glasses on. I'm looking. I'm like, there's a little bit of green. And so I just have to coax them out. Yeah, and all of a sudden they're just going to pop. So this is a great time of year if you love just nature. Yeah. Yeah. It's
beautiful. It's especially in California. This is like one of my favorite times because everything's lush and green because we just got so much rain. By like June, everything will start turning brown, and I'll be sad, to be honest.
That's true.
Well, who knows? You may have a great bit of rain coming through and keep things green.
It'll be brown.
Pretty sure we actually don't want rain after a certain point for the vines, but
you don't want moldy vines
as much as I want it.
And then you just have those roots. If they don't have to work, then they're not producing what their potential is. As when they have to really reach down for that water, right? It kind of hardens those vines a little bit.
So I read that the Terraces also has an acetea, a balsamic vinegar production.
Yes, so I jokingly say I'm not allowed to join any wine clubs because I have so much wine, but I'll admit I'm a member of their wine club because I couldn't help it. But also you have to be a member of their wine club to buy their vinegar. They have a wait list for
Oh.
it. And so they're like slowly releasing it out to their wine list. And I want it.
And I want
but
it, and I want it bad.
So is this a
Yeah.
brand new thing they're doing?
No, they've been doing it for over 25 years now because they waited 25 years to actually bottle it. So when you do the tour there, they take you to this like really cool old building, like stone building that has all of these different wooden casks that are filled with vinegar. And they do it Syrah style. So they move the vinegar from like the oldest barrel to the newest barrel like each year. And it gets more and more and more concentrated. And
So I have all these lines going from each barrel that they pump over.
Well, vinegar, but yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
But from each barrel, they keep pumping that. That's amazing.
Yeah, and it's so cool to try. But yeah, they waited 25 years to actually bottle it the first time. And so they're just now releasing it to their wine club. And I think I still have like a year and a half wait before I can actually get it.
Oh, no.
It seems like you might want to buddy up with someone like Shannon or somebody there.
Right?
I mean, seems to me someone here, there's at least 2 people that are influencers here. And they may benefit from that. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. Yeah.
That's okay. I'll be patient. I just go all the time and do the samples.
Oh, that's fantastic. If you're watching on YouTube, you will notice in the back of Paige, she's got one of these wine racks that she basically built out of like shelving and some inserts. And if you go onto her website, there's links to all of these products. I said this last week because I talked about this, and I am going to build this. It's going to go next to our other racks because we're running out of room. I don't want to. I'm not complaining about that, but that and now seeing that behind you is fantastic. I love that 36912. That's a yep.
It's one of the more cost-effective storage things. Like when I was trying to figure out what to do with all my wine, I looked at so many different wine racks on Amazon, on Walmart, and ended up realizing that the cost per bottle for storage, this was the cheapest way to do it. Yep. And it's pretty. It's cute.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic.
My living room.
Did you paint it at all?
No. These are the colors that I bought.
Oh, nice.
It's IKEA shelves and then Walmart, the X inserts from Walmart.
Pretty cool.
There was something about material as well.
Those are the materials.
Oh man, I was thinking material like clothing.
Oh, you had something in a basket below or something like that.
It could be.
Oh yeah, I don't have wine all the way to the floor. There's like I have little like baskets on the bottom row.
Yeah.
That hold papers and my tech sheets and all my wine gadgets. I'm a big gadget person.
Are you really?
We have too many gadgets also.
We do, but we only use a very few of them.
I only use a few, but I have a lot.
Well, how did you get into the wine industry? What did that journey look like?
So I was freshly 21. I was going through a business program at the University of Michigan, and neither of my parents drink at all, like period. And I really didn't feel like I fit in at this business program. I'm very business minded, but I'm also very artsy and like creative at the same time. And it seemed like most of these people were very, very, very like analytical to a fault, like very finance bro type people. And so I was trying to figure out how I could fit in with them more. And I was like, what do business people know? Wine and golf. But it was December in Michigan, so I was not about to go golf.
No.
So I picked up Wine for Dummies over Christmas break. Read it front to back. Huh?
Who wrote that? The Wine for Dummies?
Ooh, I don't know, to be honest, but
interesting.
Highly recommend. I devoured it, fell in love, realized how many different subjects that wine touches, like culture, business, marketing, history, geology, geography, just everything. Became obsessed. Picked up every single wine book I could find in my public library. Wow. And read as much as I could and just fell in love. And then obviously started drinking and loved it more.
Yeah.
But then you loved it so much, you're inspired to start your brand, Wine with Paige. So what was the idea and the mission behind that?
Well, so there's a gap there. So I learned about wine, became obsessed, kept learning, moved to New York to pursue my business degree. I wanted to combine business and fashion. So I worked for Bloomingdale's as a buyer, which I loved. Fantastic, fun job. Continued my WSET, or started my WSET there, did my WSET 2, and then I was recruited by a different e-commerce company, and they wanted to move me to California. And so that's where I was like, I love wine. You're going to pay me to move there. They're also paying a lot more than fashion because fashion does not pay money. So moved out to South San Francisco, started going wine tasting every weekend because that's like an hour from Napa, an hour from the Santa Cruz Mountains, hour from Sonoma, easy. And started doing my WSET 3 at that time. And so that's when I started sharing about what I was learning on Instagram, just kind of, sharing my adventures, sharing what I was learning in the WSET program, really trying to just like build my photo portfolio because I loved photography and wanted to combine that into wine, and then accidentally became an influencer.
That's how it happened.
Which, by the way, is the best way. It's kind of like Shelley and I get asked all the time. I just need some videos to go viral. Can you do that for me? It's like, oh yeah, we'll just flip that switch. Your video goes viral when you least expect it. So you become an influencer. Not if you're going to try to do that, you're probably not going to be that. Or if you do, you're not going to be very good and influential. Yeah. It's when it falls in your lap. Yeah.
People want authenticity too. So if you're like trying to be something that you're not, like I was literally just sharing what I was doing and what I was learning and what I was like nerding out over because I'm such a nerd. And it resonated with people.
Yeah. And I love your stories, your photography stories that you do.
Oh, thanks.
So pretty.
So
yeah, even with all the transition to video, I'm still trying to do as much photography as I can because that was my first love.
Good for you.
Yeah, that's good.
Ed McCarthy and Mary Ewing Mulligan are the writers of the second edition of Wine for Dummies. There you go. Talk about being educational and informative on this podcast. We're here we aim to please.
We do.
So then you became the Wine with Paige ends up being the brand is more of an influencer brand. Do you have a mission behind it?
Yeah. Well, first, I think it's funny to point out that Wine with Paige was supposed to be a placeholder name. And it just stuck.
Again,
it's hard to come up with names. But here we are. And now it is. But so I really want to make wine fun and approachable. But I also think that the best wines tell stories. And so if you were to ask me what I do as a career, I would tell you that I'm a digital storyteller. I sometimes lean into the word influencer just because that people understand that term. Yeah. But I would say that what I do goes far beyond that because I want to like really tell the stories behind what I'm talking about.
It's all about the stories. Yeah. And it's been it's been that way in marketing anyway, forever. It's just now it's so easy because social media and digital marketing as it is, the relational aspect of that, if you haven't got stories or don't like talking about it, like our generation, we don't like talking about ourselves, but
we don't.
Oh, I don't think so. But being a good storyteller, you don't necessarily have to talk about yourself, but tell the story about what you're doing. And that's why we love having guests so much, because we get to hear unique stories from the guests, and they're the best. And Shelley likes it because then I don't talk as much. So there you go.
Well, the guests always educate us and the audience, so that's really good that way.
Paige has gifts on her website too. Not GIFs, Shelley, gifts.
Gifts. What is on your website? What kind of gifts? What do you mean?
Yeah, what do you mean?
you have gifts from Paige. They're like, you keep scrolling through a bunch of them. One is I haven't downloaded any of your gifts yet, but.
Oh, like my freebies?
Yeah, that would be a gift.
Yeah. I have. Yeah. Yeah, I have a free Napa map, a free Sonoma map with like all my favorite places for both of the regions. For
Wow.
wineries. So, in addition to what I do with Wine with Paige, I also help small wineries with their social media. And so I do
Oh, good for you.
digital like consultations that help them tell their story online because, like you said, not everybody knows how to do that. So, I do like one-on-one sessions that will tell them how to better tell that story. And I also do done for you social media for a small selection of clients. So,
Wow.
in addition to those maps, the Napa Sonoma map for consumers, I also have a like free ebook for small wineries and how they can better work with influencers and be strategic about those partnerships.
You know, do you know Andrew? I can't think of his last name. Dillinger.
I'm not sure.
He started Cuvée Collective. Okay.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And they were really working with wineries in Napa. They were going to prove the model, start in Napa. I think what they found is wineries, well, Shelley and I know this firsthand. Most wineries are they don't know how to do this social media thing. They just don't. Some want to know, but I think most actually don't care. They want to grow their grapes and harvest their grapes and press their grapes and make good juice, which is all well and good. Well, Andrew and Cambam did this Cuvée Collective, which was NFTs, which was it was a great idea, but a little in front
Premature.
of a little premature. So now they've got the Cuvée app, which has been acquired. I don't think we're ready to announce all of that yet. But
I think you just did.
Well, but they're still doing it. But they are all about getting people into Napa as well and filtering based off what you're looking for in the tasting rooms and things like that. So as we have talked in the past, Napa's going through some changes and transitions in terms of, the demographic that is not really loving to drink wine right now. Certainly not wanting to pay necessarily Napa or Sonoma prices right now because it's not inexpensive. And so there's this transition and evolution. And so they're trying to figure out ways of getting people into Napa that aren't going to be overwhelmed, which is great, right?
Which, real quick plug, there is a Wine with Paige guide to Napa on the Cuvée app.
I love it. See, a serendipitous plug, a cross promotion, if you will.
Yeah.
I think that's great.
Yeah, that's awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah, they're doing really cool things. And
yes, they are.
I have my blog, but something easier about having it on an app. So,
I mean, they're working with people. Cool do you know Andrea Robinson?
Yeah.
These are her glasses.
Oh.
Pretty much only. I think we might have to break out the spring glasses because I think it's spring now.
It might be spring.
So from time to time, we'll go with a themed glass, but this is basically what we use 90% of the time. It's the one red. We have the one white wine glass and we have the one red, and we plug it anytime we can because we love Andrea, working on getting her back on the podcast. She's great. So back to Paige and her gifts. Thank you for the gifts. They're awesome.
Yes.
Should we take a break real quick and come back?
Okay.
We'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Welcome back to Wine Time Fridays, episode 261 on this April 18th. And we are having Wine with Paige.
I mean, it works so well.
It does.
I put it in the title. I actually changed it a little bit. Today we're having wine
with Paige.
With Paige. I don't even have to go any further. This should work well with SEO as well. We love that.
So this wine is Napa Cellars. And I used to sell Napa Cellars in the maybe 1979, 1980. They used to be really small, right? I mean, this is a long, long time ago. But I remember selling their Chardonnay to stores for like $3.49.
I have their Chardonnay too. I did not open it, but it exists on my desk.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
So it's very fun. There was a little, wasn't Wine Warehouse, but there was one called Wine Masters. I used to work for them for a while. They were a new startup, and so they had very small wineries that mostly were under 500 cases. So this was way back then.
I think boutiques now are considered under 1,500 cases now, aren't they?
Maybe even more.
Do you know, Paige, what
they were definitely a boutique wine at first.
What production is?
I don't, but I do know they're owned by the Trinchero family now. So they're like part of a larger portfolio.
Mm.
Well, this might shut Phil up because this is really. I just had a rinse pour taste.
Okay.
But I'm not going to say anything. We just opened up and Chris Cochran, I thank you for texting me during this. I want to give you a big problem. The 2021 Napa Cellars Cabernet Sauvignon, which we picked up at Pilgrim's Market for about $35. Here's the deal. When Paige and I were in negotiations and talks for having her on, she asked a lot, but I whittled her down and she agreed to come on and everything. But we were talking about, because I wanted to feature some wines from Napa originally, and she said, why don't we do a Napa Cellars Cabernet Sauvignon? Because that's readily available. And you know what? I believe you, except it wasn't readily available here in North Idaho. I'm like, I know I've seen it on the shelves.
We've had it before.
I know.
Yeah, we've had the Chardonnay.
So I'm like, well, Syrah from Pilgrims, can you get this in for us? Yes, I can. Beautiful. So she did. And she almost forgot.
Oopsie.
But then she brought it in. And I think we should do a Wine Time Fridays a quick toast, which is hashtag cheersing.
Cheersing.
Cheers.
What kind of glasses are you drinking from?
Glassvin. So these are what I use for all of my official sampling, so that I have a standard glass for everything.
Yeah.
They're super thin. They have well balanced. I can swirl and swirl.
Yeah. It's what we like about these too, is you can swirl the hell out of this, and very rarely, although I've done it, spill from swirling too hard.
Do you bring your own wine glasses to tasting sometimes?
No, not to wineries, but I have brought my own wine glasses to parties.
Yeah, we did.
We're at okay. So what Shelley and I like to tell people, we are not wine snobs, but we are wine glass snobs.
Yes. So I say the same exact thing. I love that.
So Fly with Wine, because I believe the glasses you're using, they sell, I don't think it's called Fly with Wine anymore. It's the Vanguard. Yeah. Vanguard. But we have our little, what's that?
It's Vanguard Valise, right?
Yeah. We have the 8 bottle suitcase, but we also have the 2 glass wine case. Attaché case.
I don't think they sell that anymore.
They just brought it back. They got rid of it, and now they have a new one.
It's so cool because
it's very fun.
We were at a Rotary conference in February, and so we were going upstairs because there was a bunch of parties at the hotel upstairs in all the suites, and I'm bringing our wine glasses, and they're tink, because I hold them by the base upside down, and they're like tink. Tink, tink. And then about 30 feet away from this one suite, this lady pops out. Oh, I thought that was wine glasses. Come on in. So we
I don't like drinking from plastic
cups. No. In restaurants that have these wine glasses, they're little shot wine glasses. And they're like, I said, you don't have to pour so much. And they pour to the top. I'm like, can I get a bigger glass? And they say, well, you're not going to get any more wine. I'm like, perfect. Just want to be able to swirl. Does that make me a snob?
A wine glass snob.
Okay.
Yeah, it's okay. I do bring my own glasses to hotels, with that said. If I'm driving, I need one of the suitcases. I don't have it, but I remember you brought yours to Rocky Pond. I remember
did,
seeing
yeah.
you have it.
We had got that not too far before that get together. I love it. We now, because Paige, I don't know if you know this, on Alaska Airlines, wine flies free.
Yeah.
And
my favorite.
We take advantage of that whenever possible.
We just went to Social Media Marketing World in San Diego, the conference. And so we brought the Vanguard valise with us, and it did fly free.
Yep. And we have wine there.
And we had our other little attaché inside our bigger suitcase.
We don't pack clothes. We pack wine in wine glasses. Anyway, it's pretty fun. I don't know. So do you have a go-to? God, I hate asking this question this way, but what is your favorite varietal? Let's just go there and we can work backwards. I know it's a super loaded question that really is probably not warranted to even ask, but I'm doing it anyway.
It's a hard question with a complicated answer. I would say I'm generally an equal opportunist. With that said, I will order the most esoteric thing I can find on a wine menu, or if I'm at a wine store. Like, I want something I've never tried before, like a weird region.
Oh, good for
a
you.
Weird grape, like something strange. Let me be nerdy. I will sit there with my phone for like 20 minutes tasting the wine and looking it up. But with that said, the largest collection in my... At one point, it was arranged by variety. It's not anymore.
It's hard to do. It is hard to do.
But when I did that, I have a lot of Sangiovese, Pinot Noir, Chardonnay, and bubbles. I have a whole fridge dedicated to just bubbles.
Yeah, I think we're at probably almost 2 cases of bubbles now because we don't drink it that often, and we just keep.
I drink it all the time.
Yeah,
I remember you said that a couple of years ago. Bubbles with ramen. Weren't you having that?
Yes, yeah, kava with ramen. Like, she can
kava
get cheap
with ramen.
Kava. Ramen's cheap.
There's a sub-brand for you, kava with ramen.
Could be a whole thing because you can do all sorts of fun things with like dollar ramen. Like, I put butter and an egg and chives in my ramen usually when I make it.
You know,
and you throw out the little packets.
I use the packets.
Oh, you do?
I just like enhance it with my own things.
Okay.
So anybody who tries to steal that kava with ramen, it published here first, hands off.
Well, it published on Instagram first.
Oh, true. Yeah, that's true. That's even more true, huh?
It is more true.
Do you find, first of all, Sangiovese from Italy or from California?
Usually Chianti Classico. I did a trip there a couple of years ago, and that was like highlight of my life. Beautiful region, obviously beautiful wines. I had been drinking Chianti for years, and so to actually go to Chianti Classico and see it in person was incredible. And there's just something special about it. I do have some like Sonoma Sonoma Sangiovese, but there's something very distinct about getting it from Italy versus California. Like, you can taste the difference. It's much more fruity in Sonoma or other California regions.
Yep. Have you ever had an Idaho Sangiovese?
Oh, that's good.
Yes, actually. Yeah. Really? I went to Boise probably 3 years ago now and did like the Snake River Valley. And I think I still have a bottle of Sangiovese from there.
You remember the producer?
Was it Koenig?
Yeah, I was going to say it was a Koenig.
That doesn't sound right, but I went to all women-led wineries, if that helps you.
Oh, there's more and more. I was telling Shelley before we hit record.
That wouldn't be Koenig then.
Yeah, I was telling Shelley before we hit record today or before you came on, that this is a part of our Women in Wine series because Paige is a woman in the wine industry. And so we're constantly trying to promote women in wine, and there's more and more and more of that happening. I love it. It's just they're making their mark in the industry, and it's the best. In terms of Pinot Noir, are you noticing a little bit? They're getting a little heavier. Not a bad way. They're just a little bit more weight on them.
I haven't noticed that. No.
Okay.
I feel like in general, the industry has been moving away from heavier wines, like the opposite of the Robert Parker effect, right? Like we want Chardonnays to be more mineral. We want Cabs to be more balanced. I think in terms of climate change, we might be facing a challenge with making balanced Pinots that aren't heavy. Mm-hmm. But I haven't necessarily noticed a trend towards that as a desirable quality or in the wines that I drink.
Yeah.
But that's not the style I would lean towards.
Well, it's interesting because some of the Pinots we've had in the last year or two, they've had a little bit more weight. And I actually like it. And I wanted to ask
more weight,
this.
But did they have more alcohol?
I don't recall one way or another. But
when you say weight, like more fruitier, tannin?
Because Pinot Noir, if you talk, Oregon Pinot Noir, so fruit forward, just medium bodied, luscious. We both love Oregon Pinot Noir. Out of the Willamette Valley, hell yeah, right? But then there's this, I have noticed this trend out of California Pinots, they're still fruit forward, but I don't know how else to explain it. And then, so we're a part of the Gary V Wine Club. And finally, I got an email because Gary does a video with all the wines that they're shipping. And so one of them is a Pinot, and him and Brandon tasted through it and talked about a little heavier Pinot. And it's like, that's what we've found recently out of California Pinots. They're just a little bit more weight to it. I don't know how to explain it. Yeah, but I love all Pinot Noirs. I'm like an equal opportunist too.
So I used to rate all my wines in Vivino, and Vivino thought I hated Pinot because I'm super picky about it. So I will not say I love all Pinots, and I probably wouldn't gravitate towards the heavier ones.
Interesting. Well, and that's the beauty of us all having our opinions, right? And they're both right.
Did you come up with your own wine ranking system, or have you heard of ours? I
do not officially rank my wines anymore. I feel like I just go by gut feeling at the end of the year. I'll be like, these are my top 5 because they stand out amongst everything I've tasted. But I mean, my audience doesn't really look for ratings. They're more about the story. So I don't really officially rate.
No, this is just for us.
We just wanted some alliteration again.
Yeah, for like John and Dottie from the Wall Street Journal back in the day.
Yeah, I love
they
her.
Always
Dottie's incredible.
She's the best. John's okay too. But like Pleth was one of them.
No, that was ours.
Oh, that was ours. What was theirs?
There's a yummy, not so yummy thing. Really yummy.
And yucky.
Yucky.
Something like that. We have 6. I was trying to find it really quick, but it's phenomenal.
Practically
perfect.
Pretty darn good.
Pretty damn good.
Pretty damn good. Pleasant.
Problematic.
And pleth.
Pleth. We have
like
never.
pleth.
That's got the puke emoji on it.
I like it.
We. It's tough because we have to not rank them when we have guests on.
Yeah.
Because we're not going to even take the chance of something like that coming up. Because we don't want to bash anything.
No.
We want to love on wines and people.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. And I think that's one of the things that like people always complain that like, our influencer is authentic because they never say anything bad about the brands they work with. But like that's kind of the thing. If there's something I don't like, I don't talk about it. Like exactly. I've given feedback directly to brands, directly to PR. I've like been like, oops, sorry, I can't talk about your wine and here's why. But I'm never going to publicly like
No. Good for you. No. How is that received, by the way, when you do that? I'm curious.
I mean, I think thankfully to my like business degree and my professional career, especially in buying where I had to give feedback to designers and to different brands, I have hopefully perfected the art of giving feedback in a constructive and positive way. Like I would never tell a brand, blah. But
no,
I don't think we've ever put that.
No.
Maybe that Trader Joe's one.
It's just at our house.
There's always, it's not a good fit for my audience, or like I don't think this is what they're looking for right now, or I had a weird experience one time at a winery and told them I couldn't talk about it. And I was like, I would love to come back if you change your experience type thing, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Had a contract with the shoe brand, and I wore the shoes, and my feet were bloody at the end of the day. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I really can't talk about these shoes.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, that's okay. We're going to send you a pair of boots, though. And they sent the boots, and I couldn't even get my foot in them.
Oh, jeez.
I'm like, no, it's not going to work.
Well,
I had a wine glass, going back to wine glass snob one time. I had a wine glass, and like, it was supposed to aerate your wine when you swirled.
Right.
It had like kind of ridges on the inside, but it wasn't balanced and it was shaped weird. So even the tiniest little swirl, the wine would like slosh everywhere. And I was like, no one wants this. I can't.
You know,
what about our little decanter?
Oh, well, we broke it out last week. Am I going to break it out now?
But I don't know. Have you seen that decanter that you sort of spin and it's like a...
Do you want to know what it's called now?
Oh, like the ship one that like doesn't sit flat, it like rotates.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
It's the Vacuvin swirling carafe.
Vacuvin. Okay,
Vacuvin
swirling
carafe.
It's very cute. It's very fun at parties. Everyone's like, I want to spin. It's a good social.
Yeah, those are fun.
But like at the end of the day, when you're talking about opinions and stuff, we all have an opinion, you know, case in point, the Pinot opinions, right? Where Paige is like, yep, I like mine the way I like mine. And I don't like it too heavy. And like, I'm kind of enjoying the going a little heavier, but it's because we're all individuals. We all have our opinions, although we can all agree that Yellowtail sucks, but
say that anymore.
Could not tell you the last time I had Yellowtail.
We did buy it once.
Yeah.
And threw it down the sink.
It's been over a decade since I tried it. It could be better now.
Well,
I think so.
Yeah.
Although Molly Duker,
Luke Marquez, the
from
son
Molly
of
Duker,
from Molly
they're
Duker.
really thankful for them, and so I give them credit for leading people into Australia wine. So there's a reason for everything.
So
yeah,
May is not only Oregon Wine Month that's coming up; it's also Aussie Wine Month. And you talk to distributors around here and retail, and they struggle selling Australian wines because people are thinking, well, if Yellowtail's from Australia and it sucks, then these must suck also. So it, I think, can be both ways. It's not always a good thing. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if we're going to be able to find any Australian wines. Maybe go over to Washington and go to Total Wine and see what we can find there. Maybe. But, you know, and those Australian wines are coming in at 16% too. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Jeez, that's hot. Okay.
Right.
One more break?
One more break.
We'll come back and do some business.
Okay.
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 Welcome back to Wine Time Fridays with Shelley and Phil and Paige Comrie with Wine with Paige, a name that she stumbled into. But isn't it interesting, Paige, that because if you try to rebrand now, it wouldn't work, right?
Yeah. So I did eventually come up with a name, and a brand strategist was like, "Don't change it. Don't."
Yeah, it's so hard to rebrand, especially when you actually it has some teeth and some legs, and it's actually having some traction. We feel really fortunate that Wine Time Fridays was something Shelley came up with on the deck, and it stuck.
Friday.
It was a Friday.
Imagine that.
But I mean, it's so interesting because sometimes you just stumble into the right thing, and you just should stay there.
Yeah, my blog has changed names probably 5 times.
Oh my gosh. I think we might change it.
I mean, with like your podcast name or Wine with Paige, the brand strategist I talked to kept saying, "Clear is better than clever."
Yeah.
Like Wine with Paige, you know who I am. Because a lot of times I go to events and I remember people's handles, but they're not their name. And so it's like weird.
Mm-hmm.
And then having wine in it, like I come up if you're searching wine on Instagram. So
It's
and
so,
Wine Time Fridays, you know exactly what you're getting. You're having
it's so
wine.
funny though,
Fridays.
because
It's like people.
I will talk to wineries.
Confused people don't convert.
Confused people don't convert. Although we're converting them to listeners on this, but
There you go.
they'll say, "How often do you publish?" I said, "Once a week." You'll never guess the day we publish, and they're like, "Is it Fridays?" You did guess. You're amazing. I mean, it is super simple. We want to talk a little bit more, or just talk about this Cabernet Sauvignon, because we kind of skipped around a little bit.
Too busy drinking it.
We're too busy
We got
drinking it.
sidetracked.
It's really
It's
good.
so
This is a
good.
Napa Cab all the way through. Again, I'll show it again. 2021 Napa Cellars Cabernet Sauvignon.
What is the alcohol?
Yeah, let's talk about that. It is 14.1.
Oh, hey. We're below 15. That's crazy. I feel like alcohol is getting higher and higher here in Napa. But this is like a very, very approachable, easy drinking, accessible cab.
This is really good.
Very yummy.
When I smelled it, I'm like, Napa Valley, right there. You know?
Yeah, and that's their whole thing. They want you to be able to bring the Napa lifestyle home. And I mean, I know you said you had a hard time finding it, but theoretically, it's out there. It's accessible. It's on wine.com, which is where I link to most people.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I agree with you that it's readily available. It just, we live in North Idaho. Okay.
They will ship to us.
Oh, they'll ship to us. Yeah. But I mean,
It can be
most
shipped.
retailers in most West Coast grocery stores and wine bars and bottle shops will have this wine. Okay. But North Idaho is so fickle. If it doesn't move in 2 weeks, they're like, nobody likes it. It's like,
Give it a chance.
You got to give them a bigger chance than that.
it's so frustrating. So anyway, I did get a little frustrated because I expected to see it at the stores that I've seen it before, and it wasn't there. So then I went to Syrah at Pilgrim's. She was happy to do it. And by the way, go to Pilgrim's, say Wine Time Friday sent you, and Syrah will, if it's available in this market, she'll bring it in. No problem. They'll do that at Fred Meyer too. A shout out to Cynthia. But yeah,
So,
what else are you getting on?
Well, I was going to say one of the things that I like about them, well, one of the many things, they were actually one of my first partners when I started Wine with Paige. And I feel like they really want Napa to be accessible. As Napa continues to grow and get more expensive and get more crazy, they've stayed very attainable. Accessible in the market, but attainable also when you're here. So I think their tastings are like, it's under $50 for a tasting. They allow outside food. They allow dogs. It's a super cute place to taste. And yeah, their wines are just very fun, friendly, approachable. Like this has really beautiful notes of like cherry and chocolate and
There's this
like an espresso bean.
There's subtle tar and licorice I'm getting on it.
Ooh,
yeah.
Well, I have a combination.
Yes, I was going to give you a rinse pour, and then you just took it away. So there you go. And let's be honest, Paige, everywhere in California allows dogs, okay?
No, they don't.
Not in Napa. Not in Napa.
Really?
Probably outside of Napa. Like I would say everywhere in Sonoma, Paso, yeah, sure, probably. But not in Napa.
Yeah, Paso is for sure.
Yeah.
I guess it's been a few years since we've been to Napa.
It's been a long time.
What's wrong with us?
Napa. I don't know.
You need to come back.
I know.
We do need to come back. There was that tour company who just reached out to see if we wanted to start a tour and bring some people.
I don't know about this.
I haven't told you.
Well, sounds like a good excuse. Come back.
I mean,
hang out. Let me know.
We will. There's a handful of people we'll be letting know. Dan Petrosky for sure. Andrew Cambam, now Paige Comrie, Andrea Robinson. Those are the ones that have all extended happiness invites.
Happiness invites. Happiness invites are great.
Yeah.
So, what What off the beaten path pairing would you do with this Cabernet?
Oh, off the beaten path. That was a nice disclaimer. Quality.
Yeah.
The ramen and the bubbles.
Well, yeah, because that's off the beaten path for the bubbles.
Yeah.
So I feel like this is one of the rare Napa cabs that you don't necessarily need. Oh, puppy. You don't necessarily need a food pairing with. Like a lot of times we do a lot of steak in my house. My boyfriend loves to cook up a steak. He gets it from like the local butcher here. It's fantastic. And we drink a lot of Napa cabs that need it. Like you don't need it for this. You could truly just have a glass with a book and be happy.
Heck yeah.
I don't know. I might do like a beef ravioli would be really good with this. I don't know. That's not necessarily super off the beaten path, but honestly, like even a Chef Boyardee canned ravioli, like let's be cheap with it.
Yeah, with a little red sauce in there. Yeah.
Yeah. Or like an In-N-Out burger. That would be fantastic.
Now she's just rubbing
In-N-Out's coming to Idaho.
Yeah, it's not to Idaho, is it?
I think so.
I think it's Spokane.
Well, that's close.
It's coming up somewhere here, and we're excited as hell.
Yeah.
We're going to go, what's that one, that secret one? Is the Mad Dog or something?
Animal style?
That's it. Animal style. That's a great call, by the way, on this. This meatloaf, pizza, In-N-Out burger, animal style. This would be absolutely fantastic. What kind of steak do you guys usually lean towards? Like a filet or a ribeye?
Oh, no. I want to say it's a ribeye, but he's going to be mad that I don't know off the top of my head. I let him do it, and he does it like perfect every time. There's a family-owned butcher over on the Sonoma side called Bud's, and they just have the best cuts of everything. Like for local listeners, 10 out of 10, highly recommend. So good.
Look in the show notes. They are there, and I will even hyperlink to their website because that's how we do it here on Wine.
Or to their Google Maps if they don't have a website.
Well, they'll have a website. Everybody who is anybody has a website.
Maybe.
Yeah, they've got a website. It's Bare Bones' website, but it exists. They're focused on the meat.
There's probably nothing better in my world than a steak. And I like Cabernet Franc a lot.
Which Cab Franc is having a moment. I feel like more and more regions are talking about it right now.
And we would like to take a little credit for that, wouldn't we?
Yeah, it was all because of us.
I didn't say all. It's like 80% because of us. I mean, come on. That would be so wrong. No, like a Chinon or a Cab Franc, some of my all-time favorites. A Carmenere be great with a steak, but there's really nothing that quite beats a Cabernet Sauvignon with a steak. Rare, juicy. I'm hungry. What are we having for dinner tonight, Shelley?
Coincidentally.
We are having a steak.
Yes.
Ooh, perfect. I'm jealous.
You should be, because it's going to be really good. So what do you have going? Because Easter Sunday is 2 days away. What are you doing this Sunday for Easter? Any special plans?
So I've been traveling nonstop in April. This is my like only weekend that I'm not doing anything. So my plan is really to just sit on my patio, enjoy my plants, probably have a glass of rosé. Nothing crazy.
And read a book.
Yeah, read a book. Honestly, yes, for real. I'm again huge nerd. I love reading.
What may surprise you is we had an Easter much like what you're describing. We're on the patio with friends up in Athol, and it started snowing, so that was fun. We're not expecting snow this weekend. Yay! Do
you know what you're drinking?
Not quite.
Well, so I saw this thing on Instagram, of course, which was, you get the bunnies in their hollow. You snap off your ears and you put some like liqueur in there and some bubbles and drink it with a straw. So we're doing like that.
I love your ideas. When you say you get the bunnies and snap off their ear, though, that does not sound good. But so I think in the spirit of Easter, I'm hoping I come up with an Easter egg for this episode.
Oh, an Easter egg.
An Easter egg. Do you see what
most people don't know what that means?
Well, do you know what an Easter egg is? in this world of podcasting, Paige?
Well, I know an Easter egg in the context of Taylor Swift, which I'm assuming is the same as a podcast Easter egg, where you're like hiding something for people to find later on.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. Of course, we don't make it very hard. We hide them on the back. No, they're always on the back. Easter eggs are always on the back.
Oh, see, I didn't even know.
I almost put one on last week because you said something very funny. I'm like, I just don't have it in me to do another hashtag Easter egg. Because I was
hashtags
lazy.
Are out, so.
Yeah, well, this week. Okay.
Well, so says Adam Mosseri.
He says things all the time that aren't true. People are fighting him right and left. Adam Mosseri, you know nothing about Instagram.
Nothing.
Well, I'm saying the people are still
His comments are a savage place. You want to take out some anger, he apparently is the person to take the anger out on.
Adam Mosseri?
Yep.
Yeah, him and Mark Zuckerberg side by side. So our 3D cabinets by design wine word of the week, Shelley, is brooding.
Brooding.
That's pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah. Do they have chickens at their winery or something?
Can I have your wine now?
No.
Okay. You want to say what brooding is?
You have glasses and I don't.
I do. This term is used for wines that are complex and seem to hold back some of their flavors and aromas. It can be a positive descriptor suggesting a wine that rewards contemplation. I absolutely think this Chardonnay is spot on for that. And honestly, I think that this Napa Cellars Cabernet Sauvignon, given time to open up and aerate naturally, not with the little lined glasses that slop it all over the place. I think that it becomes more deep and contemplative, in my opinion.
But it's a nice sipping wine.
It's absolutely great. I think
I poured mine before we started, but didn't sip it until we started talking about it, and it definitely had so much more aromatics on it when I came back.
Isn't that something?
That's always the fun part.
It's always the fun part. And you said, Paige, that you have a lot of gadgets and stuff like this. I'm sure you have, if not one, multiple aerators that you can use. Do you like using those?
I honestly don't that much, but my boyfriend really likes. We have a Venative one. And it works really well because it just goes like right on top of the wine glass or on top of the wine bottle when you're pouring it in.
Got it.
And so for some of those like heavier, more tannic, young Napa cabs, it works really well.
And I keep saying I don't know if you agree with me on this. I love the evolution of 60, 90 minutes, maybe 2 hours of drinking a wine.
Them need like a day.
Well, I mean, some of them do.
Some of them like a
Barolo.
Yeah, you could taste them the next day and they'd be better.
Yeah.
Yes. I had a Napa producer one time. I posted on my stories that I was drinking his wine and he was like, "Oh, did you let it decant?" And I was like, "Yeah, for like 30 minutes." And he was like, No. It needs to decant for a full 36 hours.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, who is doing that?
No,
but he's right. I had a glass that night and then I like left it in my decanter overnight. And it really did open up and have just like so much depth and complexity that wasn't there that first day.
Yeah. I mean, you have used the word geek multiple times in this episode, but you know what? I think when you really enjoy the process, no, that's what I'm saying. When you really enjoy the process, you do end up geeking out. Mm-hmm. When we visit wineries and go out into the vineyards, we're asking questions that we might ask farmers or questions that we can take back to our own garden, which of course doesn't get any light here in too many trees, but we still like to get our hands dirty and dig down in the dirt. And ultimately, wineries are a result of farming. Mm-hmm. And that's what's so fun about it. And I think we both geek out on things like that. It's so fun, to do deep dives and things like that. I do want to mention a couple of wines that we've enjoyed this week.
Okay.
The list is short, Matt Sparkman, just so you know. You don't know that conversation.
I don't.
R&B Single Vineyard Malbec, the ppoli Chianti Classico from Antinori. We had a Reader's Syrah. Thank you to Jay Bookwalter for those. And Mer Soleil Silver Chardonnay. I do like the oaked Mer Soleil better than the silver.
Yeah, I think that too.
Yeah. I mean, they're both good, but Mer Soleil was my gateway wine. Oh, Paige, what was your gateway wine?
I don't know that well, actually, that's an embarrassing answer.
No.
I used to drink Arbor Mist wine, which is like wine with fruit juice added.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No,
we all have that.
Yeah, and
mine was Annie Green Springs.
And mine was Sutterholm, White Zinfandel.
Okay?
Ooh. But I was pointed out by Kevin Olsenberg, sometimes we have two
gateway. The wines we started to like and the wine that changed everything.
The ones like and I'll use myself as a beating post. The Sutterholm White Zinfandel, that it would be hard to put that in a glass right now, but it got me into thinking about wine. And then 20 years later was the Mer Soleil Chardonnay. That was my open the world up wine.
Ooh,
so,
okay.
I mean,
my better wine, my open the world wine would be the Ramsgate 2010 Hyde Vineyard Chardonnay.
Oh,
she was beautiful.
Wow.
That was the first.
Hey,
that was the first time I dropped.
Come back!
I dropped like $95 on that bottle of Chardonnay, and it was worth it.
You should have seen your face. You're like drifting off. Your eyes glassed over.
It was a beautiful wine. I miss her.
Oh my gosh! Do you want to say what's coming up in the future? Or do you want me to buzz through that too?
We're just going with April. On the 25th.
This is the 18th of April. There's only one more.
All right.
Okay.
A little bit. The 25th, International Viognier Day, which I know we'll be drinking something.
Yeah.
May is Oregon Wine Month and Aussie Wine Month. May 3rd, International Sauvignon Blanc Day. It's about time to bring those Sauvignon Blancs out. And some rosés.
And rosé every day.
On the 9th, World Moscato Day. You know what? We have never talked about Moscato.
I think we're going to try to do that, but we have some Oregon wineries we're having on as guests, so it's going to be hard.
And what is an Exerho Day?
Yeah, we're not going to do the Exerho Day.
I don't even know that.
Why don't we do a Moscato next week with a Viognier? That would be fun.
Moscato
Paige,
is a dessert wine.
You're going to have to.
I drank a lot of Moscato back in the day. The $4 Moscato from Trader Joe's.
Yeah, there used to be.
I don't think we can do it anymore, but
Temecula used to have a Moscato di Canelli way back in the day, which was also not bad. So I drank a lot of that.
I learned so much from you about you on this podcast.
Really?
We don't talk aside from this.
You got to save it for the show.
I think so. And of course, we will say again, June is Idaho Wine Month.
Idaho wines are getting much, much, much better.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad that you're in Boise. If you went back to Boise now, it would be vastly different, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Even when I was there, it was incredible. I was shocked by how good the wine was.
Years ago?
She said 3 years ago.
3 years ago, yeah.
About the same then.
I don't know. I was.
Have you ever been to the Lewis Clark AVA?
No, not yet.
Yeah, you need to go there as well.
They need to go everywhere.
Yes, you do.
Everywhere.
Okay, we next week what to expect. We kind of already let the cat out of the bag. Viognier and possibly a Moscato if Shelley doesn't turn her nose up at it. Huge thanks to today's sponsors, Elsom Cellars and Seasons of Coeur d'Alene. Paige, do you have any words of wisdom to take us out on this episode?
Or anything that we forgot to mention?
That kind of means.
Ooh. I mean, number one rule of wine, drink what you like, even if it's something we made fun of, like Moscato. As long as you're drinking wine, we're happy people.
Yeah.
And then find me on Instagram at Wine with Paige. I also, like we mentioned earlier, have a bunch of freebies on my website, a free Napa map guide, a free Sonoma guide, a free how to work with influencers guide for small wineries. And those are all on winewithpaige.com/downloads.
Beautiful.
Nice. Okay.
I love that. And by the way, I want to kind of put a bow on this by mentioning what we didn't really spend much time on it, but when you go to a restaurant, you have your favorites, but then when you go to a restaurant, you look for the most odd, off the beaten path wine. And I think we do kind of the same thing because we're constantly drinking. I mean, like it or not, we're having a Chardonnay at night. We're having this, we kind of paint ourselves in a corner sometimes, and we shouldn't. We are huge fans and say this constantly on this podcast. Try something. If you don't like it, people say, I don't like Merlot. Well, you haven't had the right Merlot. So try other Merlots. If you don't like Chardonnay, you probably haven't had the right Chardonnay. There are so many different Chardonnays. And the list is very long on some wines that you can try. Like what you just mentioned from the Terraces. What was that grape that
starts with a C?
Cortese?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's the Falangina. Mm-hmm. Who you don't even know how to say it, so I'm not going to try it.
Not how to spell it.
They have a Falangina day, which we bring in Falanginas. Now, the problem is there's not a whole lot of them. So
now we know another one.
Yes. So try new wines. Go outside your comfort zone a little bit. And anyway, I just wanted to
and follow
emphasize.
Paige on Instagram.
And follow Paige everywhere. Well, not everywhere. Should call the cops on you.
Online. Follow me everywhere online.
There we go. With a little bit of knowledge, wine becomes a lot less overwhelming. Paige, thank you so much for making the time to come on with us. And these wines are fantastic. And thank you to the listener for spending some time with us as well. And we will see you next week with a Viognier and possibly a Moscato. Tally-ho.
Tally-ho.
What's wrong with tally-ho?
Thank you for spending part of your day to wind down with Shelley and Phil. Remember, you can listen to any episode of the Wine Time Fridays podcast by visiting winetimefridays.com or wherever you get your podcasts. And join us on our Wine Time Fridays Facebook page, Instagram, or on Twitter, which is @VintageTweets, for daily conversation. Until next week, here's our toast to you. To health, wealth, abundance, gratitude, peace on earth, and of course, romance.